Welcome to my yoga studio / dining room. This is where I practice. It's where I lead my classes from. And I'm a big believer in keeping things simple. So carving out a space in your home, no matter how small that home is doable. Carving out time to do a practice every day is doable. And doing that practice without any fancy props or any fancy clothes is doable. So grab some bath towels, pull on your gym jams and your sweatpants, and let's take a little short chunk of a daily practice, beginning with a morning routine. This practice is going to be easiest on the floor, but if you wanted to, you could conceivably practice while you're still in bed. But I'm going to encourage you to roll out a mat or roll out a bath towel and practice on the floor. The only rules are that you're listening to your own body and you're working at your own pace and your own comfort level. And if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Just stop. It's okay. Okay, so we're going to start on our back, rolling down one vertebrae at a time, making sure that we're resting on the back of the head. The arms are down by our side. The feet are planted on the floor. And we're going to begin with pelvic rolls. All we have to do is pull the tailbone toward the floor and then point the tailbone toward the ceiling. So when we breathe in and pull the tailbone down, we're going to feel the lumbar spine lift away from the floor. When we point the tailbone toward the ceiling, we'll feel it flatten. If you like, you can coordinate the movement with your breath. So you'd be breathing in as the tailbone pulls down and exhaling as the tailbone points up. You could also add your arms to this movement, pulling the tailbone down while you stretch the arms back, pointing the tailbone up as you bring the arms down. Let's just do one or two more. And then on our next exhalation, we're going to bring the right knee to the chest, holding on either at the shin or maybe at the back of the thigh. You could keep your left knee bent, or if you think it might be useful, you can straighten the left leg along the floor. You also can choose to either be still or to add some movement. And here comes my cat Bruce to make a little appearance. So what does movement look like? Well, the knee can float away and then be drawn back in. Hey, Brucey. Okay. It's the joys of practicing at home. If it's not a kid running around, it's a cat or a dog. And then maybe when this feels complete for you, bending the left knee back up, bringing the right foot down, and then taking the left knee to the chest. And again, either holding on at the shin or the back of the thigh, straightening the right leg along the floor, and adding any movement that feels good to you, or just staying still. And then when you feel even on both sides, you can bring that right knee back up, bring the left foot to the floor, and then start some windshield wipers, just allowing the knees to drop from side to side. This brings a nice little bit of warmth and movement to the lower back and the hips. And the next time the knees come to the chest, you can bring both knees, the next time the knees come to center, you can bring both knees to the chest. And again, you have so many choices. You're either holding the shin or the back of the thighs. You're either adding a little bit of movement or perhaps staying still. So movement other than the knees coming to the chest could be circling, or maybe rocking from side to side. When that feels complete for you, we're going to add a little bit of a twist. So the knees are going to come to the chest. It's possible you're going to want a little bit of support, so that could be a rolled bath towel, unless you have a pillow or a yoga bolster. My knees are going to go right into Bruce's way. Actually, I'll go the other way first. My knees are going to go over to the right. The towel would go underneath that right knee, extending the left arm out. Thinking about keeping my ankles, my knees, and my hips stacked. And we're just here for a few breaths. And then as you're ready, bringing the knees back to center, bringing your towel with you if you need the support, and taking your knees to the left. Letting that right knee stack on top of the left, letting the right arm extend out by your side. And then after a few breaths, coming back to center, maybe drawing the knees in toward your chest one last time. And then we're going to transition to tabletop. And my favorite way to come up to a seated position and then shift is to bring my hands underneath my hips. And then I'll press through my lower arms and just push myself right up. If that doesn't work for you, of course, you can find your own way up. You could roll to one side, whatever works. So we want to end up with our wrists in line with our shoulders, our knees in line with our hips. And I know a downward dog is coming up, so I'm going to automatically tuck my shirt in. Now, if your knees are sensitive, make sure to put something underneath them. If your wrists are sensitive, you can grab your folded towel or your rolled towel and just make a little platform for your wrist. So the heel of my hand is on the edge of the towel, and you can see that my wrists don't have to flex quite as much. So breathing in, we're going to draw the tailbone up and follow the movement to the base of the skull. Exhaling, we're going to tuck the tailbone round the spine and tuck the chin. Now there are plenty of variations that you might add to your cat-cow. For instance, on an exhalation, you could decide to look around one arm to the hip, and then inhaling back to center, and then looking the other way. Inhaling back to center, and then on an exhalation, you could add another twist. Just taking that arm up, inhaling back to center, exhaling and taking the arm up, and inhaling back to center. Or you could choose to just continue the cat-cow movement. Now on our next exhalation, we're going to finish our morning routine by taking the hips to the heels, breathing in, lifting the hips, I'm tucking my toes, and then I'm going to straighten my legs and press back. Now you can keep your knees soft. That's a really nice way to get a lot of extension in the spine. You could also stretch down through one heel and then the other, and take your dog for a walk. And then We're just walking our feet toward our hands, softening the knees, breathing in, curling up one vertebrae at a time, being careful with our blood pressure, letting the arms float above us, and then exhaling the hands to the heart. And that's our morning stretch. Yay!